Welcome everyone who is watching today. We are talking about how to find more science opportunities with Science Near Me during SciStarter Live. Thank you so much for being here and joining us today. We have a guest today that is the co-founder of Science Near Me and the founder of SciStarter to talk about what Science Near Me is, how to use it, and we'll even get a tour around the website so you have a better idea of how to navigate it on your own later. So I'm going to drop my screen share for a moment just so we can see Darlene so she can introduce herself. Go ahead and do so.
All right. Thank you, Emma. That was wonderful. Hello, Roland. And thank you for joining us. It's great to be here as a guest. I think this is probably my first time being a guest on SciStarter Live. Yes, and as Emma mentioned, I'm the founder of SciStarter. So everybody joining us and who has been tuning into SciStarter Lives, whether that's live, on Zoom, social media, or watching the recording, thank you so much. Thanks for being a member of our community too, and for all that you do to help advance scientific research. It's awesome that you do that. I'm also a professor of practice at Arizona State University in the School for the Future of Innovation in Society, as Emma mentioned. And this is where we get to do really cool research on the ways that people learn, on the opportunities that exist for regular people to fully engage in science. And so Emma mentioned that a lot of that revolves around citizen science on SciStarter, right? A way of contributing data if as scientists don't have enough data, they can't be everywhere, not just scientists, but other people who are curious or concerned. They may need your help in gathering data and observations, or sometimes people have too much data. And so they put this online and they develop protocols and easy ways for all of us to be able to sift through data and make sense of it. This is how together we can accelerate important areas of research. Well, it turns out there's other ways of engaging in science. So that might be through policy conversations. At least in the United States, about half the basic research is funded by your tax dollars. So you should have an interest in what's happening and be part of these conversations that also affect you. So this is where the expert and citizen assessment of science and technology, or ECAS, as Emma mentioned, comes into play. That's really about getting people involved in becoming informed on topics so they can have a say in science policy. So where we have Science Near Me is basically a way to bring together all of these different ways of engaging in science. Sometimes it's just for the fun of it, going to a science festival. Sometimes it's for the importance of shaping policy, as I mentioned. Other times it's for shaping research. So all these different ways of engaging are available to so many people. And so Science Near Me basically organizes those opportunities so you don't have to figure out where to find them. And believe it or not, it's actually difficult to find some of these. Just the same way that SciStarter was started, because all of these projects were kind of scattered around the web, and you kind of had to know to search for a term like citizen science to find these things. We organize them to make it easy for you to find what you're looking for. We do the same thing with Science Near Me. And in fact, all of SciStarter's database, all the records of projects and events are part of Science Near Me. So are science festivals, so are museum exhibits, so are all ways of getting involved in scientific research. And so then in science activities. And so then what we can do is start to look at the landscape of opportunities. Where are there gaps? So where are people really not experiencing science because there aren't as many opportunities for them to do that? And then how can we sort of work together to close that gap? And then also, where are there duplications? Sometimes it's an embarrassment of riches, where there's too much happening in a concentrated area and we water down each other's efforts. And how can we collaborate a little bit better there too? So at the heart of it, this is basically Science Near Me. Let's see. If I can, let me open up.
Want me to share my?
Yeah, do you want to? I can share mine too. Let's see.
We have the demo in a couple slides if you want me to just bring it down at that point too.
Okay, let's do that.
This might be a better start.
And it's hard to read on the screen, but basically the three audiences that Science Near Me, which is funded by the National Science Foundation as an innovations in development. That means that the work is to pilot a concept, and we really had a lot of scope creep. We kind of went crazy and just said, let's build this thing. And then we'll look for ways to scale it, but it actually started scaling pretty quickly. So this is in service to the public. So that's for people looking for opportunities. That's number one. This has to work for all of you out there, or there's no point in doing this whole thing. The second would be for partners. And by the way, it's for people of all ages. You can find things and not have an account on Science Near Me, but I'll show you later that if you do have an account, there's additional benefits for you. You can save things. You can kind of set your own goals to play around with. Like maybe you want to set a goal for 2024 or the rest of 2023 that you are going to participate and learn something new through science once a month. And you can set goals and the system will help you track whether you reach those goals or not. This is in service to partners. One partner is SciStarter. Other partners are the Association of Science and Technology Centers, the Science Festival Alliance, Astronomy on Tap, NASA's Night Sky Network. You'll find a whole bunch of partners who basically connect their events to Science Near Me. So you don't have to search multiple places to find them, as I mentioned earlier. And by the way, we don't take away from those partners. It actually enhances. Imagine Science Near Me is almost an additional referral for them to help find more people too. And then of course, researchers. These are our friends at Oregon State University. They're the lead principal investigators on this. Also the Columbus, it's called COSI. I can't remember what they stand for right now. I should. Columbus, Ohio Science something Institute, maybe. Sorry, friends. And National Girls Collaborative Project. These are the core partners here. And then we extend out to any other partner that has offerings can link into Science Near Me. And again, the researchers, they're really looking at lifelong learning. And how does somebody's thinking or identity or confidence or behavior change the more they're engaged in science? So we look at some of this at SciStarter through our research partners at North Carolina State University. We get a really nice look at if somebody came to us through as a corporate volunteer or a Girl Scout or a student. What does their experience look like? What are they learning? But now Science Near Me, we really get a whole big picture of somebody's science identity and how changes may happen because of them and because of repeated exposure, increased knowledge, and so forth. So what we'd like to see is actually a deepening in their experience, but there's no evidence yet. We're looking for this in this data. It seems like it would be a natural fit to think you went to a science festival and then or a museum exhibit, and then maybe you learned about citizen science, or you got involved in citizen science, and then maybe you got more interested in a related policy conversation, so you went to a policy conversation. It seems like that would make sense, and there were a lot of assumptions that that must be the pathway. But because we had no evidence, a lot of people were excited about Science Near Me. This is where we'll actually see some of that, the patterns that exist. Okay, next.
On to the demo.
On to the demo. All right, let's see if I cannot. And then I'm going to share when you're ready. And I think it's this. Let's see what I'm looking at here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So basically, all right, let me get rid of all these windows because I can't see it. All right. So basically, this is Science Near Me. And I encourage you to go to Science Near Me and create an account. So what you're seeing here is my logged in view immediately because my browser, I permitted my browser to share my location. You can see where I am, Ocean County, New Jersey. So it's going to pull up all the local events and things happening here in Ocean County, New Jersey, which could include, and I can sort this. For me, I'm looking within 50 miles. Starting today, and I can put an end date on there, but just for the heck of it, let's see what pops up for me. And then while this is scrolling, I see there's some virtual things happening that are organized not far from here at the Howell Township school, it looks like. It looks like something cool's happening too at a local public library, which would be interesting to check out too. Some watershed things, not surprising. I'm surrounded by water here in Long Beach Island. I can get involved in some tree kits. Anyway, you can see there's a bunch of different, I'm not far from New York, so 50 miles would make sense here. A bunch of different opportunities that exist here. And then of course I could really zero in on things if I want. Let me move this. Let's see if I saved any opportunities. I actually don't recall. And chugs a little bit if I'm on Zoom with video at the same time here too. No, it doesn't look like I had saved any opportunities, but if I wanted to, this is where I'd find them, because I might see something I want to do with my family a month from now. Great opportunity to save them. And this is also wonderful if I knew I was traveling out of town, like I'll be in Arizona in a couple of weeks. I could do a little research here ahead of time and say, show me things I can do in Arizona from this date to this date and have my saved science opportunities there. My goals, let's see if I set any goals. And again, if you're not logged in, you won't see all of these offerings on the left side, but if you are, this is what you'll see. Your goals give you, this is really a test. We're testing to see, do people care about this? Do people set up goals? We haven't promoted this a lot. You can see that I said I want to be a science dabbler. And I thought I can get this done in a year. It looks like I set this up. I had this great idea to be a science dabbler on August 23rd. And what have I done? Zero. But I can, and it's good to know that, all right, I have 304 days left to be a science dabbler. I'm going to do it. And it's really easy to self-report. In some cases, it tracks it all for you. But this is where I would go in and say, I went to that event, and kind of, it's almost like your own journal. This will be interesting to see what happens, because this is wonderful if you need to fulfill service hours, community service, for teachers assigning this, any kind of facilitator. This is a wonderful tool because people can just show you a screenshot of their dashboard that they did 5 or more projects within the year, or you can tell them what the end date could be. So we encourage you to just play around with that and use it. And then there's a way to provide feedback to us too, since really this is still in beta. I'm afraid to look at my activity log. So, okay, these are things I looked at recently. And so if I didn't see that sitting like, okay, I actually did this, I would just say I did this. Or if I showed that it was there, I could be more honest and say, well, I was planning to do it, I didn't really do it, and just remove that. So my activity log is here. So before I set my goals, I did 2 science opportunities were logged. Off the Roof in Baltimore and New Jersey Audubon Shorebird Survey, which definitely makes sense because, like I said, that's where I am. I'm also logged in as a partner, as an administrator. So this is where I would find all the opportunities that my organization has connected to Science Near Me. And data insights, let's see what this looks like. This looks like I've added 6 opportunities, and 1 happening either now or in the future, because these events come and go. So that's why we'll see how many left. We keep them all there because, as I mentioned, when we're looking at the landscape of opportunities that exist, we need to see, even if it was a past event, it was offered to somebody. I'm going to actually jump down to the footer. Let's see how to get down here. And anybody following along, you can click on data overview. You do not have to be logged in for this. And the data overview takes a little while to load up here. And this is where you can at any point come and see, well, how many opportunities are here. So if you are a researcher or you're thinking of partnering with Science Near Me, which is very easy to do, you'll have kind of real-time information of what's happening. So 36,000 opportunities have been part of Science Near Me since we launched in January. And as I mentioned, let me move my screen again. Here's how many are right now live, and here's some that are past. 35,000, the majority of them take place in person. Some are online only, like this would be considered online, our Zoom event here. It's interesting for people to see, you know, researchers who study the field of public engagement in science. This is like a holy grail to them of information that we were trying to unite. It's not perfect, but it gives really good, more than trace data here. This takes long to load, but this is how we start to break down the domains, like how many of these records are available to do at science centers versus how many are classified as citizen science. These are probably all coming from SciStarter. The live science most likely coming from festivals. So again, this is a great resource for people who study the field, but also people providing all these opportunities. So this is why the National Science Foundation invested your tax dollars in this. It's a smarter way for all these groups that are also usually funded by the National Science Foundation to leverage a common resource to help them with research, marketing, recruitment, retention, engagement. It's just a very smart tool for everybody to use, and I'm super proud of it. And we have a very, very talented team. We actually have the SciStarter team, who is also the development team for the Science Near Me team. And he's not here, but Daniel Arbuckle and also Kevin Ripka, Trevor, who we mentioned earlier, and the team that you see here are very much behind Science Near Me, the development of it. And our friends at National Girls Collaborative Project too. So these are keywords that are used by people when they're entering records or connecting them. So that's the mods, I think it's like Museum of Discovery and Science, or Miami Museum of Discovery and Science. We have a lot of records coming from there. So we can tell right away, they're extremely active there, which would make sense that they have probably a lot of activities in the Everglades nearby. So this is, again, kind of real time. This is what's showing up also by how people are searching for things. So there you go. There's a Museum of Discovery and Science, and you can start going down. You can see SciStarter provided 1,938 records. And again, this is all open for you to look at. You're going to see a big increase shortly because now we're working with science cafes, which is fun. Okay, let's go back up to the top. And let's take a look at audience. This gives us an indication of who's using the site, who's visiting the site. More females than males. This is the age difference here. Nothing surprising. The only thing surprising is it's a little bit younger than I expected, but that's because there's also a lot of family activities that are here. And we also partner with Evolve Me, which is a very popular teenage app that allows teenagers to earn points and prizes that they can, the points are used for their college applications, and they're given tasks. And one of the tasks is to do things on Science Near Me. So I think that's why our age group here is skewing younger than SciStarter. And this, we were happy to see this too. Believe it or not, these are good numbers compared to what we see in most public engagement in science race records. So we love this. Almost an even mix between, well, 37% of people don't have a college degree. And again, that's could be because they skew younger, they haven't entered college yet, but it also could be that we're reaching people that wouldn't normally be getting involved in citizen science and doing things that we associate with people who have college degrees. Lower than average household income. And again, this is what the research team does. What they're able to do is pull back and say, okay, well, let's take out the number of people who are too young to have jobs. That might be why the number's so low. So again, it's good to have researchers who know how to use data and know all about statistics. So you'd be able to search by just things happening. There's 505 people in California who use Science Near Me. That's good to know, especially since the site is so new. Not many in West Virginia yet. We got a lot of room to grow there. There should be one in Lebanon. That's you, Roland. Haven't checked. So we expect to see all of this grow, of course, as the site matures. And again, we just kind of launched it. So California is our biggest. I haven't looked at these numbers in a while. Let's see what
I'm
they
looking
use.
for Lebanon.
Oh yeah, it's true. I didn't.
Where are you?
And we should have Lebanon in here. It's not tracking.
The sign you on again.
Yes, I know again. Mobile tablet. So I don't want to bore everybody with this, but so this is good information for anybody looking for this data for your own research. Come grab it. It's designed to be available to you. And so of our visitors, it looks like, let's see. Well, we have 430. Remember I showed you those goals? So that's good. We're going to dig deeper into What are people aiming for? Are they like me where they say, sure, I'm going to do it and then don't? Well, these people actually self-reported, so that's good. And all of these numbers will continue to come up. This one is a really important one. Clicks to websites means 15,000 people have gone on and found something. I don't know if they did it. That relates to self-reports and these other numbers. This will take time to grow and make sense of. But this is what we want to see. So that's 15,000 people that we've referred to science engagement activities that Science Near Me specifically has sent on there. And that's very helpful. It doesn't actually mean that's people. 15,000 times that's happened. And again, these numbers will keep going up because the growth of the site just keeps going, whoop, which is exactly what we want to see. Oh, and these are the searches by keywords. So Maker is a popular one. We have a lot of people looking for festivals and lectures and so forth. And how
user to see space down so low. Sorry, I noticed one of the lower, like or top 30 searches, like space is pretty low down there, which is kind of surprising to me. I would assume space would be like just an immediate check, but yeah, pretty cool that there's such diversity.
I'm surprised psychology is, I mean, it's 19, but that's
high
up there. That means somebody used that. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Let's see what traffic means. Okay, so something happened here. Oh, this was probably our first launch. And don't be discouraged by these because that offsets these. These aren't as bad as they look. What is that number? All right, I'm going to make a note to Daniel to maybe remove this so we can get a better sense of what these numbers are, which would be what?
Yeah, because that first tally is 2,000, so that's a pretty good set of, like, the low boundary is pretty high.
Yes, that first tally looks like it's probably 5,000.
Yeah.
So these are closer to maybe like 1,000-ish. It depends on the day, 1,000 a day or so, down to lower.
Oh, it looks like that might actually be 1,500. 15,000,
really?
sorry, because it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that top tally is at 14,000.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So that's a lot of checks, but that does mean it offsets it quite a bit. Yeah.
You're right. Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to ask Daniel to, let me just grab it. I think I love live demos. You're learning with me. Okay. I'm just going to make a screen capture here. Okay.
Live demo with live edits.
Yes. Yes. And then these are where people are coming from.
Especially if you're trying to figure out if you want to use Science Near Me, it's kind of nice to see where people are getting their referrals, because then you can make better use of your other promotion methods too.
Yes. And so this is really helpful for us too. But again, the more that we're doing data remediation. Trevor, who's not on the line with us, does a lot of data remediation. So that means if something maybe is tagged wrong, it's really citizen science, but it's tagged as a festival. We go in and we retag these things just to make the data cleaner. So this is an interesting chord, it's called, that kind of shows overlap or the pattern of engagement. So people who do one thing, how many are also doing something else? And so I love this because we always wondered with citizen science at SciStarter, what else people do. And it's not all surprising that a lot of them do something called out of school time programs, which is usually with family. So I love that. And then we can dig in to see what that means. Let's see what this one is. People who do museum things, that's nice too. And this is not surprising because there's such a clear growth between museums and science centers offering opportunities for citizen science. We would see something similar if we had libraries here, because we're talking within STEM engagement domain, which is more than just, anyway, I can keep going on, but yeah. So logged out, what would it look like? Logged out on the home page. Let me get here. Logged out, there's a little bit more about like, okay, here's what you can expect to find. You can create or build things. That's another way of saying maker. And the researchers look at these words too, and they study people, they survey people, and what did you expect? What was your anticipation? What was your experience? So make a difference. Did you feel like you made a difference? Did you expect to find citizen science linking on that? Create or build? That one to me is the most obvious. Celebrate science might be a little nebulous to people. What happened when they actually did these events? So that all that research ought to really help all the providers in how they communicate what they offer to different people. You know, we struggle with this all the time at SciStarter. How do we describe citizen science without saying citizen science? Because people don't understand what that means. And it's a hard thing to do because we know that there's so many different motivations to get involved. And so the more data that we have, you know, if we're talking to seniors, we might want to play up the fact that you can kind of use all that knowledge you've accumulated in very positive ways to impact the world. That might be something different. That's not saying citizen science. We also might want to play up the social aspect of it, that it's good to feel connected to other people. It's very important when you're older to have those experiences too, which is different than what we might say to, you know, a young, busy mom or dad. You know, find quick ways to do fun things with your kids and help, you know, advance important areas of science in the meantime. So everything you see is being studied. It's being studied at a pilot level, and then it's really designed to learn and then really scale. So we keep saying beta because at the end of the year, which the year ends at the end of August, that's kind of the end of this phase of the project, and we are, you know, scaling. And you'll see even a better version of this. So you can read all about the benefits of creating an account. I do encourage everybody to create an account. It's free. This is how we notify you of new things happening in your area too, kind of like SciStarter, but you'll find a lot more than you see on SciStarter. It's much broader. SciStarter is much deeper. SciStarter, you can track, you know, your participation in a lot of different projects without having to say, I did this. We have affiliate tools. It's very, very technical and robust. This is much broader. You're going to find a lot of different types of experiences that happen, but you're going to be self-reporting more. It's not quite as automated. And then I'm actually going to just pause to see, are there, yes, a lot of citizen science opportunities on Science Near Me. Yes.
I was hoping, could we go and do a test search to see what the search function looks like and feels like when you try to look for something you want to do? I'm trying to think of a good example of a common one. I know a lot of people are adding in maker actually as their go-to keyword. If we want to try that out first, I'm curious what will happen.
Yeah, let me see what happens. So if I do a search, let me see, because I think I should know this. I'm pretty sure there is an advanced search, but where is that? Oh, more filters. It's probably a little too small. So let me move all these windows out of the way. You can see I can sort these by what is closest to me. They're already sorted by closest here. I can decide between in-person or online. Is it scheduled or is it on demand? Basically, can I do it anytime? Kind of on demand, or scheduled implies that you're going to be going somewhere. But then there's more filters. There we go. And I think we need to really highlight the more filters part. Oh my gosh, these windows. Maybe there's an age range I'm looking for, an activity type, free, any cost, topic, venue, indoor, outdoor, and basically that means. Maybe you want to just search by the host organization, or back to that question that Roland posted here, if you wanted to search by partner organization, I think this is where we would, yeah, I could search just for all the SciStarter records that are in there. And that's helpful too. And then I can clear them or apply them. But basically that's how you would search for advanced search, Emma. It's kind of small though. It never dawned on me how small that is. We may want to just boost up these. They're very easy to miss. I don't think I would.
I think it's, yeah, they're good that they're right in front, but I can see them being, I mean, yeah, maybe making them better is good. But right now, I don't think I had a problem finding them.
Okay. And I think that might be bigger on, right. And there's a lot of white space over here. Anyway, that might be bigger on mobile. I think these are much more prominent.
Yeah. If you were to hit in person, I'm curious how often or how many near you that are happening and how quickly it goes through. Because it would still be closest to you now in person.
Mhm.
And then the more filters only brings out that little portion. Okay,
11.
nice. Nice. Oh, that's a lot.
Yep.
It's funny to me to be able to find this is really helpful because I feel like you have to go very much searching for anything happening in a given area. And so having it all in here with so many partners and most
Yes.
organizations adding their own, it'll be
Yeah.
cool to see how often I feel sad for anyone who's in a dead spot for opportunities if it somehow ends up being zero, but I don't think
Yes.
that'll happen now that this exists.
Yeah, it shouldn't. I mean, in person, we're still, because originally when this was set up, we were only going to use 2 cities as the pilot. We were going to do Philadelphia and I think Columbus, Ohio, where our PIs are, the principal investigators are. And our core partners were museums and festivals and SciStarter. But then what happened was COVID. Remember that thing? When that happened, festivals and museums were shut down. So we couldn't work with them and nobody was having events.
Right.
So what we did was we spent time instead being very opportunistic and looking, well, there's online things, a lot of online things sprung up. SciStarter.
Right.
All these Zoom things that you see here happened because of COVID that we had people relying on us saying, we need your help engaging people. Can you do something online? So my point there is that now we see a lot more like global opportunities, like you can do from anywhere pretty much because they're offered online. This technically is considered a global event. You can do this event that we're doing right now. You can tune in from anywhere. So nobody should have a dead zone, but to your point, Emma, we are every week adding more partners who say, I want to be part of this. And the more partners that are involved, the better for everyone. An interesting thing that is happening is that states are getting involved. Let me see if I can, I'm not really great at this. Alabama STEM near me. Let me see if this pulls up. So we have whole STEM ecosystems at a state level that are using something called a Science Near Me exchange. And in fact, Roland, it's good for you to see this because this is what we're building now for Africa, for Australia, and for the UK at SciStarter. So an exchange is basically your own SciStarter. In this case, I'm showing you a Science Near Me one. Alabama funds a lot of STEM programs, their Alabama STEM Council. So what they did is they have a website called stemcouncil.alabama.gov/STEM-near-me. So they call their STEM Near Me instead of Science Near Me. And what is it? They give an overview. Here's what it is. We partner with Science Near Me to make this happen. So it looks all like their own thing. If they are supporting programs, they invite all the programs they support to create an account and add their records to, I'm sorry, this sun is getting a weird glare, to add their records to STEM Near Me. All of those records become part of Science Near Me. So anybody searching for something is going to find it in Science Near Me, even if it was added through the Alabama portal, which is great. So already they've maximized the recruiting efforts because it's not just sitting on their website, it's linked into Science Near Me. And then what they're able to do is pull from Science Near Me. So again, this event can be viewed by anyone. Our event that we're doing right now, if this is added to SciStarter, it appears in Science Near Me as can be done anywhere, global, right? So that means Alabama, this Alabama site, they pull in everything that can be done by anybody in Alabama. So it's not just their records that were added through their site. It's also other things. There's plenty of citizen science opportunities that can be done. There's plenty of other, so they benefit from everybody who's connected to Science Near Me, right? So these are all Alabama opportunities here that show up, and there's a lot. Many were added through their site, supplemented with everything else that gets pulled in, and it's automatic. So when that event is over, they don't have to invest time in having somebody constantly clean up a database, and they benefit from everybody else who is sharing Science Near Me on their site. As I mentioned, there's other states who have this. So anyway, it keeps on, kind of returning back in investments. And for partners who are going to be watching this, the exchange is free. You can set it up your own. And this is all in an iframe. and you decide what you want to show up here. And then when somebody adds something, you can just approve it. Somebody on your team is notified, hey, somebody added a record that can be done in Alabama through your site. And then all of those analytics that I showed you earlier, the administrators of the STEM Alabama partnership, they get to see and have access to everybody who added a record. They get to track what I showed you on a grand scale for Science Near Me. They have just for their state. What are people searching for? Are they finding what they're looking for? And so it's a smart way to make future investments. They can start to see where gaps exist and where they may need to make more investments in science programs that just don't exist for people who are looking for it. And opposite too. They may have, a lot of duplicated things that look like duplicate investments happening in areas where not enough people are using them. So it's a way to just kind of distribute funds too. I don't want to speak on their behalf with their funding, but I know that they said what they budgeted for in terms of how many people would be coming to their site is 6 times. We've sent 6 times the amount of traffic to their site than they anticipated. So the wonderful people from Alabama, myself, and Karen Peterson from National Girls Collaborative Project will be talking about this at a National Science Foundation Principal Investigators meeting in Washington next month too, where I'll see you, Emma.
Probably in Washington. Yeah. Wow. This is all like a lot of opportunities too, and a lot of different groups to be taking part of it too. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Again, sorry for this weird glare.
That's okay.
We got
some fresh air.
A white paper suit.
The beauty of natural sunlight doesn't really tell you where it's going to go.
Yeah, right. So, Roland, have you spent time on the site? Was there anything that's like surprising to you, or is it pretty much like self-explanatory?
Yes, I've used it before, and I went to check my goals as you were seeing your goals, and I haven't set any yet. So I should probably set a goal for Science Dabbler as well. And the good thing is that, it asks before, it asks my permission to share location. And if I don't share it, then it would still work if I specify the city and the place which I want to look around.
And are you finding things? Do you see things in Lebanon?
I just granted location access, and I'm going to set the distance to 50 miles. And let's refresh. Allow and search.
And I'm looking at Washington, D.C. too while you look at it, which was 621 opportunities. So plenty within 10 miles too. I even made it smaller.
And
that one is from SciStarter. That's specific to Lebanon, which is great. It's great that it made it to the top of the list. So apparently it's suiting them. And some global projects, some online projects.
Awesome. And for people who just joined us too, we're talking about sciencenearme.org and looking at all types of citizen science, museum festivals, science policy conversations. Did I say museum festivals? Science festivals and museum exhibits taking place where it's a new site where we're just trying to make it easier for you to find opportunities to get involved in science and with your families, or fun for all ages. And this also supports researchers who study the field of lifelong learning in particular, and definitely benefits the providers. It just helps with recruiting and marketing, and it gives them a sense too of understanding what people do when they're not at their event. So some of the data analytics that all of you have access to, you look in the footer under data, you'll see the patterns that people move between. We showed this earlier where you can see like people who do citizen science tend to visit museums a lot. So it's relatively new, just getting started, but we're very excited about this. And we hope that you sign up, create an account. You of course can use everything without an account too, but And I'm curious to know, Karen, putting you on a spot if you're still tuned in. If you're still listening, if you have any questions about the site, is there anything that you're left wondering after this long discussion and tech demo? And you might
Or
not.
any of the others who are.
Oh,
There's
yes.
a couple
or any
others
of
in
the-
there. From Facebook, Jesse asked, maybe this can be added under a state's visitor center's website under museums or eco tours.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Do you work for one? Do you work?
I mean, this is a great example of how I was just showing the Alabama, we call it an exchange. And that is the state's STEM Alliance, where they have their own version of Science Near Me. And so they're able to pull from our entire database. Yeah, I would actually like to see more states using that. I want to say it's Wisconsin, Alabama, and Maine. And so we're looking to build that up in other states too. Thank you, Jesse. What a great idea. Any other questions, comments? Looks like Lisa just joined, so I don't want to just put you on the spot, Lisa, but if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. And was Antar, maybe? I'm sure I'm not
Yeah,
pronouncing
or
it.
if you joined with the purpose of answering a question you had based off of seeing our event, we're happy to answer them too.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a couple of seconds to talk, actually, or a couple of seconds to think about it too. If you'd like me to go through close out things too, we can keep answering questions, but I'll give you another 30 seconds before I do that. If anyone does want to add.
Yeah, I was actually going to encourage Roland, if, for science centers and other places there, if you want to, invite them to be part of this. It's definitely outside of the scope of this current scope of work, but we have a really good flow of new partners and providers, states and others, if they want to link into Science Near Me or use all the activities on their site and have their own database up and running. The National Girls Collaborative project team is very, very good about explaining this more succinctly than I just did, and then onboarding people too, if they need help.
I can think of quite a few organizations out of Arizona that I'll be checking to see if they're on here, because I can definitely ask them if they want to be on it or use it as extra promotion for their events too.
Excellent. And I think, Emma, that the Arizona Science and Technology Institute is part of this. I think they share their whole database coming into.
The SciTech Institute group? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I've seen them on there too beforehand. Yeah, I think that, and that is also for kids, because they learn how to be chief science officers, which is really incredible.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
opportunities by themselves, and also incredible professional development as a student too.
Definitely.
All right, 30 seconds are kind of up. If there aren't any questions, anything else off of Facebook, or we'll go ahead and close out a couple minutes early.
Yeah. Thank you for everybody tuning in.
Great. Thank you so much, Darlene. That was really helpful, just so that I can, even though I've seen it before and been in meetings about it, it is nice to see I hadn't gone through the data like that. So it's interesting to see, and I love that graph of the circle. I don't remember what you referred to as the one that pulls,
Chord.
if you do, it's a what?
Chord. I had never heard that term either. Chord.
Chord, like CORD?
I think it might be CHORD, but I'm not positive. Who did that was Kevin Ripka. He designed that. Daniel hooked up the back end. Yep.
It's super beautiful. So I wish every graph could look like that. Amazing. Yeah. So looking at all that data was really definitely something that's good to look at, just out of curiosity, to see what people are doing online. All right, I'm going to share my screen back to give you an update on what's coming up next, and other opportunities to participate in meetings or events like this. So for first point is we have SciStarter Live almost every week. on Tuesdays at the same time we started today at 2 p.m. Eastern. And the upcoming 3 weeks we have coming up is, well, next week is Halloween. So we're doing a special about the Never Home Alone project off of iNaturalist. So if you want to join us, it'll be on Facebook live stream only. So you'll join via Facebook to say hello to us. I'll be narrating, talking about what people have found in the past and showing you some creepy critters, which is not very nice to the critters, honestly. Arthropods are beautiful. However, I'll be sharing about those things while we find out what's found in the other team members' homes, and you're welcome to participate and share what you find at home as well. So any children especially love this one, so feel free to enlist a kid in finding the bugs around your house. Good cleanup activity. On November 7th, we're talking about Outbreaks Near Me, which is a project that was started about for the flu. It used to be Flu Near Me. And so we are talking about COVID and flu outbreaks and talking about how that project in particular is helping gather a lot of data on how people are doing across the country, across the world, and what they're using the data for. So that'll be a great one. And then on November 14th, you'll see me again in narration of the project Sourdough for Science. I'm going to be actually making the sourdough this time, my treat. But I live with a chef. My cousin is a chef, and so I brought him in to help me teach everyone how to make sourdough after doing the science experiment. So I'll explain the experiment. We'll talk about how to do that for your Thanksgiving celebration, if you celebrate, and then we'll plan to eat some sourdough. So I hope you all can join us for that too. If you'd like updates, we have a blog post with all the updates for next events that Roland has dropped in the chat. And then I will move us forward one more time. We do have a series of events that I just want to bring attention to called Do NASA Science Live. We don't have one scheduled for the next one, but it should be in the December, January time area. And so hopefully we'll see you there too. We take some time to talk through some NASA science projects and how we can help those through citizen science. Our most recent one was about the eclipse. So if you're preparing for the April eclipse, you can go ahead and go back and watch that one. It's called Prepare for the Eclipses. If Roland is quick enough, he might be able to drop the view link for the YouTube video as well. And our previous one was about the moon. So if anyone participated in Observe the Moon Night a couple of days ago, I think it's on the 21st on Saturday, you would probably really enjoy that one because there's a couple projects you can participate there about the moon as well. So it'll be super fun. Oh, was that the YouTube link? Nice. Yeah, nice. And that's the Prepare for the Eclipses one. 5 different projects in that one. So, and they're all relevant to the April eclipse. Lastly, we just always like to share our resources. So if you do have any questions for us, you can always ask us through the info@scistar.org email to contact us. You can also go to our main pages for reaching out to us and learning more. So asking the community, asking the project leaders, you can take trainings and listen to our podcasts and listen to the previous SciStarter Live episodes if you have particular project interests. So look forward to hearing from you if there is anything like that. And otherwise, I hope we get to see you next week on Facebook Live. And if you wouldn't mind filling out our post-event survey, we would love to hear your thoughts on what you would like to see, what we do well, what we don't do well, so we can make these events much better for you every time we meet. So thank you all for joining us. If there are any questions, you can always send them to info@scistarter.org. And you can find that on the website too. So thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share and say goodbye. We're going to stop our recording too.